Hello and welcome to another video on the IFW YouTube channel, and today we have the first of what could be quite a few episodes of this series. I think we're going to call it IFW Championship History, and I'm going to be starting off today with the IFW Intercontinental Championship. So basically what this series is going to be all about is going to be going through each reign as champion, so every person that's held the championship. Of course, in this case, it's the RC title. We're going to do the World Cruiserweight Tag. So yeah, we're doing all them. And not only that, we're going to go for all their title defences, which is going to help some of your newer fans to understand how we got to where we are now. So yeah, it's a good recap ahead of WrestleMania coming up. So hope you enjoy this one. Okay then, so the journey of the IFW Intercontinental Championship starts right before Unforgiven 2020, which, if you don't know, that was the first pay-per-view in IFW history. So Daniel Bryan, he went into Shane McMahon's office on an episode of IFW Live, and he asked him for an opportunity, basically, and it ended up being an open challenge he was issuing at Unforgiven, which Shane McMahon made for to crown the inaugural champion of the IFW Intercontinental Championship, as you would expect from what the title of this video is. So this challenge was answered by Drake Maverick. Now I don't have his figure set up, so I think he's basically in pieces now, so yeah, we can't put him in frame, but he answered the challenge. Looks like it's going to be Daniel Bryan, Drake Maverick, one-on-one. Good match, yep. Until we got the debut of John Morrison, who made it into a triple threat match. And if you've been watching recently, you'll know John Morrison's became quite a big player in the Cruiserweight division. But before that, it was his debut in the RC title division, I guess. But he actually ended up getting injured in this match and was wiped out for a long time, until that Cruiserweight tournament, actually. Which, led to Daniel Bryan becoming the first RC champion by getting the pinfall over Drake Maverick. So this is where our journey begins. Daniel Bryan becomes the first ever IFW Intercontinental Champion. Okay, then now we're going to look into the reign of Daniel Bryan, and it's quite an interesting one. So we started off on Instagram, the first time IFW build-up started being on Instagram, and Daniel Bryan said he was going to start his own Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge. So he started it right there and then. First challenger ended up being Bobby Fish. And, of course, the Undisputed Era has never even been a thing in IFW, really, so it's more like a one-off appearance from Fish, to be fair. But I remember it being an alright match, to be fair. I think people enjoyed it at the time. And I'm sure it's no surprise here that Daniel Bryan, of course, retained. Bobby Fish lost. And he was never seen again, pretty much. So, success for Bryan there. And then I believe week 2... To be honest, I'm not even sure which order this was. I know there's 3 weeks. But the next 2 challengers were Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor. And the reason I can't remember is because both of them ended up losing. Daniel Bryan quite easily got past them both. And I remember after the 3rd week, whichever one of these 2 it was, after he'd beaten them, he was confronted by someone else. He was confronted by the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. And now, also, don't have a Will Ospreay figure anymore, or anything that resembles it, so, no representation, just like Drake Maverick. But Bryan was confronted by Ospreay, pretty much made it obvious that was going to be the title match next, and then that match ended up taking place at Vengeance 2020, and it was a great match. But Daniel Bryan managed to retain the championship, get one over on Will Ospreay, and I think they shook hands at the end of the match, and yeah, that was a 4th defence in Bryan's reign, so he really was the workhorse champion. What that RC title is meant to be, that's exactly what Bryan was when he was champ. But anyway, let's move on to the next part of his reign, which wasn't great. So we had a number 1 contenders match. It was Chad Gable taking on Tony Nese, and Chad Gable won it. So we had Chad Gable taking on Daniel Bryan at Hardcore Hell, which was our December pay-per-view. But unfortunately, Daniel Bryan was found attacked in the backstage area, injured, and the future was unclear. Chad never got his shot, unfortunately. And unfortunately, eventually Daniel Bryan had to vacate his championship as well. We were going for like a redesign of the company at the time, and it ended up being all reverted, and yeah, we do plan on making a video on that in the future just to clear things up if people are still wondering about that from a couple of years ago. I think it was start of 2021 roughly. And yeah, but Brian vacates the title, not up to him. The other titles were vacated as well. So this is where Brian pretty much exits the picture. He hasn't done much since in IFW, but that left the IC title vacant until IFW Double or Nothing 2021, where it was a match contested between Buddy Murphy and also the Spanish guard Sammy Guevara to crown the new IC champion. Pretty sure they both won #1 contenders matches. I think Sammy Guevara beat Ricochet and Buddy Murphy beat Fuego del Sol to earn their place in the match. And it was a roll-up victory for Buddy Murphy, actually. So, and Sammy Guevara fell over, but whatever. Murphy won the match, and yeah, Sammy Guevara was disappointed. And eventually, there ended up being a rematch between the two. Rematch was made, and Buddy Murphy defended against Sammy Guevara on a YouTube special episode. And it ended up being a good night for Sammy Guevara, as it was the night the Inner Circle formed. So the title did change hands. Jake Hager and Chris Jericho aided Guevara, and that was the end of Buddy Murphy's title reign quite quickly. He did have a non-title match against Lince Dorado as well on YouTube, Murphy, but it was not for the title, so we're not including that in this video. And so yeah, it was no successful defences for Murphy. Guevara won, and yeah, that was where the Inner Circle was formed. Murphy out of the equation. And let's move on to Sammy Guevara's reign as champ. Okay, then we're going to go into Sammy Guevara's reign as champ. And his first defence ended up being against the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar. And this match took place at SummerSlam 2022, I think. Right? Yeah, it was 2022, 100%. The only SummerSlam event we've had. And going into this, Brock Lesnar was the favourite, realistically. Hardcore match. People thought Lesnar was going to absolutely murder Guevara. But thanks to interference from the Inner Circle, Jericho and Hager, Sammy Guevara got over the line quite easily in the end. They absolutely destroyed Lashley before the match had begun. With like sledgehammers, crowbars, all that stuff. Nightsticks. And yeah, Sammy Guevara pretty easily managed to retain the title. And yeah, that was his first defence. But that ended up being his only successful defence, as at New Year's / 2023, he issued an open challenge, which was answered by the almighty Bobby Lashley. And Lashley ended up beating him quite quickly. I think it was literally 2 moves, a kick to the face, and then a spear, and that was all she wrote. Lashley won the belt, and I'm sure most of you have seen Lashley as champ already. He's only recently lost it, but we'll go into that after we go through his defences. So yeah, let's just talk about his defences real quick. So first up, Lashley ended up defending against Drew McIntyre. Okay then, so Drew faced Lashley because he had helped Cody Rhodes and Dustin beat Bray Wyatt, Aleister Black and Killer Kross. So it was kind of his reward, I guess, for helping out there. And Lashley ended up retaining, and it was a big win for Lashley at the time, of course. Drew McIntyre seems a big star in the company, and he still is, to be fair. Looking like on a collision course with The Undertaker at the minute in IFW, but yeah, Lashley retains there. And he moves on to his second defence at the IFW 3-year anniversary special episode on YouTube, which he took on the debuting Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov. And Lashley ended up winning this one. It was a really close match though. Dragunov looked great in this match, and he's looked great ever since. Definitely a huge prospect in IFW for the future. And so Lashley retains here. That's 2 successful defences, looking really good for him. Really positive. But then we skip forward a few months when IFW returns around December. It ends up being an Instagram pre-show match between Bobby Lashley and Sheamus. Sheamus had debuted after Dragunov vs Lashley had made his presence felt. Appeared, confronted Lashley, gone face to face with him. So it was clear that this match was going to be next. And yeah, this match happened, and Sheamus looked like he was about to win, about to become the new champ, until the debut in Bronson Reed helped out, joined Lashley in MVP. And yeah, Sheamus screwed out of that shot. Disappointment for him. And yeah, I mean, that's what happens sometimes. Sheamus failed to win it, but Lashley, that made it 3 successful defences, which shows he was definitely a dominant champion, and that only continued when he defended against Goldberg at the next pay-per-view, IFW Intensity, and that took place in February of this year. And Lashley just challenged someone. He was waiting for his next challenger, confronted by Goldberg, a legend of the business. And yeah, it was sort of just a one-time appearance for Goldberg in this one. He couldn't get the job done. Lashley made it 4 successful defences, and Goldberg was aided by 2 people after the match. He was not sneaked out really, it was just a post-match attack by Bronson Reed and Lashley. But Sheamus came to his aid. Sheamus getting beat up by Bronson Reed, they were overpowered until the debut and Bron Breakker came out and evened the odds. So then Breakker and Sheamus stood tall with Goldberg. Lashley retreated with Bronson Reed and MVP, and that Goldberg obviously goes out the equation, then leaves quietly, and this sets up the match. You probably all know if you've been watching the most recent pay-per-view show. This sets up the triple threat match. Lashley defends against Sheamus and Bron Breakker. So in this one, you've seen it's steel cage triple threat at Lockdown. It was set up because Sheamus and Bron Breakker were arguing on Instagram. Triple H said, "We're doing this match," basically. So that's how we got here, and if you've seen the recent show, you'll know how this goes, but I'll give a brief explanation anyway. So Sheamus and Bron Breakker, they were both going, Sheamus going through the door, Bron Breakker trying to escape over the top of the cage. Bobby Lashley was just in the middle of the ring. He was watching on, no chance. By the end of the match, he was down, he was defeated. But yeah, it was a race. Sheamus got there first. He's your new champion. So we're in the modern day now. Sheamus, your current IC champion. And there's your history for you today. Let me know what title you want to see next if you do want to see it. If you don't want to see it, I guess let me know as well if you don't like the concept. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, all that. You don't have to, but I'd appreciate it, and see you in the next one.